The world is watching India keenly as India's moon mission enters the most critical phase. Chandrayaan-3 mission achieved another significant milestone in its lunar exploration journey yesterday. The lander module successfully underwent a deboosting operation, taking it closer to the moon. The lander module, comprising the Vikram lander and the Pragyan rover, will undergo its second deboosting operation on August 20th. This will lower the module to an orbit that takes it much closer to the moon's surface. On August 23rd, the Chandrayaan-3 lander will begin its final descent to make soft landing on the lunar south pole, while the propulsion module, which separated from it on Thursday, will continue to orbit around the moon and study the Earth's atmosphere. After the Vikram lander touches down and the lunar dust settles, Pragyan rover will roll down from the Vikram lander. Then the lander will take the images of the rover and vice versa.
Hello and welcome to this special broadcast. India is counting down to that big historic moment as far as space research is concerned, and to discuss that, to share their joy, Space and Technology Minister Dr. Jitendra Singh here with us. Sir, India is excited. We're all counting down to that moment when we touch down the south pole of moon. But you must have been speaking to our scientists in ISRO. How's the Josh?
No, absolutely. And as you rightly said, India is excited, but what is, I think, the best part of it and what is peculiar about this mission is that while India, of course, for obvious reasons, every Indian feels proud and also is taking it as something which is going to enhance his prestige and esteem. But the matter of fact is that actually the entire world is now looking up to Chandrayaan, and they have a lot of expectations. So there's a lot of enthusiasm, a lot of inquisitiveness, a lot of curiosity, because this Chandrayaan series is known to get home inputs which are quite exclusive, which have not been obtained by the earlier missions, and that has been the record even with the Chandrayaan-1, which discovered the evidence of the presence of water molecules through spectrometry, which was something new even for the American scientists, even though they had already landed a human being on the surface of the moon way back in 1969. So this time, as you rightly said, the location of this landing is absolutely virgin. It's toward the South Pole. Most of the earlier missions have landed close to the equator. So this is a rather unexplored terrain, maybe slightly difficult terrain as well, but which offers greater avenues and a larger room for experimentation, both in the terms of the presence or otherwise of water and its ingredients like hydrogen, oxygen, which have some kind of a direct or indirect relationship with the compatibility or possibility of human habitat or human life. So that makes it quite interesting, and I would rather say that this is Chandrayaan, which for the first time led the world or prompted the world to find scientific answers to the mysteries which had haunted us all through the generations. It was a matter of fiction, looking up to moon and imagining if there were people living over there, and then literature, poetry, cinema, fantasizing that.
Yes.
So for the first time, it was Chandrayaan which prompted the scientific world to actually discover scientific answers this way or that way. So I think that's a huge breakthrough.
So, but for a layman, if you could help us understand, our people in villages, in small towns, they all know that, this is a big moment for India's space research. But how is this going to benefit the common Indian? Why should he or she be excited?
You see, there are a number of reasons. Of course, broadly speaking, some people say, what happens if it goes there, or how does it help us? That this is a multifactorial implication. The outcomes are going to be multifactorial. And under Prime Minister Modi, the manner in which the Space Department, like many other departments, has been opened up, to all these stakeholders. I mean, for example, could you imagine till a few years ago, now we had about more than 1,000 media persons watching the launch inside the premises, whereas till a few years ago, they were even forbidden from peeping inside the gate of Syria. So, Prime Minister Modi has done one good thing, and that has enabled us to find a milieu where we could give vent to all our resources, our aptitudes, our talents. And therefore, when today space economy is another emerging area, even by means of launching of the European satellites, we have earned more than about 250 million euros or so, and likewise from the American satellites. So we are now launching satellites of the countries which had actually launched themselves in the space much more before, several years before us.
Yes.
So that is one part. The second part is that now under Prime Minister Modi, since in the last 9-10 years, India has assumed a global role, and the acceptability of that global role has also occurred. Until about a decade back, we were not taken seriously, whether it was space science, whether it was clean energy, whether it was climate. These were newer or recent issues, and India was considered to be alien to them, or maybe didn't have the capacity or aptitude to address these issues. Now we are taking a lead. Prime Minister talks about climate in COP meetings. He lays down the net zero target for 2070. And likewise, when he goes to Washington DC, it is the American side which makes the offer for any Indian astronaut to accompany to the space station. So India not only has assumed a global role, it has now been accepted as a global player, rather a global leader. So what we gather from all our experiments and inferences is actually going to be looked forward to by the rest of the world. So that is A, because you have to have an esteem, you have to have acceptability, you have to have the acceptability of the nation's leadership by other countries. So that is what is going to be reiterated by a mission like Chandrayaan. A, B, in the times to come, and that has happened in the last 8-9 years of the Modi government, space technology is not only limited or confined to the launching of rockets, though this makes a good optics,
yes.
It makes a good imagery, and it fantasizes all of us and gives us a sense of pride and excitement. But besides that, space technology in the last few years has entered every Indian household. And it has been very appropriately used by this government, whether it's telemedicine, which you saw during COVID, whether it's digital health, whether it is agriculture, whether it is the soil health card, whether the construction of the smart cities, laying down of the rail tracks, Swamit program, which revolutionized the entire mapping, the geospatial. So the entire economic and infrastructural culture also has undergone a change, and launching of Chandrayaan is one aspect of that, whereas the reflection of it is happening everywhere else. So it is going to be a very important contributor to the economy of India in the years to come. And as Prime Minister keep talking about Amrit Kal 25 years, so in the next 25 years, I think one of the areas probably the value addition to the economy will be the space technology, besides of course our ocean resources, which also remained unexplored by the earlier governments, or our Himalayan resources like the Roma resources. So these are some of the unexplored areas which are also going to have a huge bearing on the economy of India, on the ease of living of a common citizen by means of all those infrastructural technological means which were not hitherto put to optimum use, and overall it will lead to a better socio-economic status as well.